What's up, average dad fans? Welcome back to another video. And today I want to talk about the iPhone 14 lineup. Specifically, the iPhone 14 Pro Max. However, I do have the iPhone 14 regular in my possession too. I've seen all the first impressions, all the reviews. I've had the phones. I've had the 14 for about a week and the 14 Pro Max for just a couple of days. So not long enough, particularly with the 14 Pro Max, to give an in-depth review. So this is not a review. This is just a video I feel like I just want to put out after seeing all of the other reviews and first impressions. And everybody's got their opinions on the iPhone 14 lineup. And I want to throw my 2 cents in. So let's go. This is my iPhone 14 Pro Max, and spoiler alert, I absolutely love the device. It's an iPhone. I knew what I was going to get before I bought the iPhone 10, 11, 12, 13 and funnily enough 14. What Apple have tried to do though is incrementally make the iPhone better year in, year out, and everybody has to agree they've done that. They have made the iPhone a better device. Yes, in small steps, but that's always going to be the way Apple do it, small steps. I would actually argue, and this is why I had to make the video, I've seen so many people saying, oh, this is just Apple just taking small steps as always, it's not a big enough upgrade. The dynamic island's pointless, and the always on display doesn't work, and the 48 megapixel camera's not much better than the 12 megapixel camera. Listen to what you've just said, and I'll try not to get too heated. The iPhone 14 is not too much of an upgrade from the 13 or the 12. How? How can you possibly sit there in your seat and say that? iPhone have used a 12 megapixel camera for years. Is it 6, 5 years, the same sensor? Longer? They've literally increased their sensor size, lens capabilities to 48 megapixels. That's 4 times, whatever way you want to sugarcoat it, 4 times potentially the camera experience and quality. Now obviously you and I both know it's not, it's to do with sensor size and how much light it captures and the aperture and all that other stuff. But for Apple to change from a 12 megapixel to a 48 megapixel is a huge deal, especially when you pair the fact that Apple only make changes when they are good and ready and when the change is ready for the mass market. Apple don't deal with hundreds of thousands of sales. Apple deal with hundreds of millions of sales for you, the consumer, so they want to make sure that it's done right. And sure enough, the 48 megapixel camera is absolutely genius. The Pro RAW photos you can get from this camera and its main lens are incredible. Pixel beats Samsung, beats all. It's the best smartphone camera on the market right now. That's any 108 megapixel camera, the new 200 megapixel camera, because it's not all about the megapixels, as Apple have shown in the past when they had brilliant pictures from the 12 megapixel. So, I just wanted to start off with the camera's far superior than it has been in previous iterations. Now, last year Apple introduced a better display with 120Hz refresh rate. Thank goodness, it was about time. Well, they've increased that display even more. It's now 2000 nits of brightness, which means you'll always see it outdoor in the harshest of sunlight. It's 120Hz all the way down to 1 Hz which in turn gives us the capabilities for an always-on display. Now again, people have an issue with this. This is always on display on. This is the lock screen. This is always on display. Great, perfect. People are complaining the always on display is too bright. Turn it off. If it's too bright for you at night time, schedule the focus mode for your sleep pattern. Turn the phone over so it's on its front, or turn off the always on display. Why are you wasting your time and breath, and more importantly the viewers' time and ear listening capabilities? I don't know what I'm trying to say there, but essentially you're wasting everybody's time by complaining about something that can be turned off. It's an option. Apple have given us a 120 Hz refresh rate screen with a 2000 nits worth of brightness. Brilliant. Full stop, leave it at that. Best display on the market? Probably. In turn, they have given you the option to use this fully customizable always-on display / lock screen. If you don't want to use it, just don't use it. I'm seeing people say, oh, but they could make it just the clock, just that. Okay, so should Apple just make an Android phone? Is that what you want? Just buy an Android phone. It absolutely confuses me and racks my brain why you'd be like, oh, but Apple have done it like this, not like that. Yes, Apple will do it their way, and they're not going to change it because you, YouTube reviewer guy, thinks it's too bright, it hurts my eyes at night. Sorry, pathetic. Absolutely finding ways and reasons to moan for no reason. That's all that is. Anyway, I move on. We've talked about the always on display. We've talked about the camera. The third and final thing I want to talk about that everybody seems to have an issue with is the dynamic island. Apple have finally got rid of the notch on the iPhone 14 Pros. Embrace it. There's no notch. They've got a pill-shaped dynamic island. They could have just left it as the cutout for the sensors, the 3D, the camera, all that stuff. But they didn't. They made an absolutely genius software integration with certain apps just now. There will be more apps to come where you have, quick tap functionality for quick toggles and quick buttons, and you can go into the full app if you want. It'll show you the timer, it'll show you the date, it'll show you lots of different things. Apple didn't have to do that. You would have bought the phone either way. So for those that are complaining about the dynamic island and not liking it, don't buy the phone then. If the Apple iPhone 14 is just like the 13 and you prefer the notch, stick with the 13. That is okay. How you can complain about the dynamic island is beyond me. It's something new and innovative. And mark my words, in a year's time, Android, OnePlus, Xiaomi, Realme, all the other me's will be copying this to some extent. Anyway, thanks very much for watching this public service announcement. I will be back with actual reviews on the iPhone 14 and the iPhone 14 Pro Max and the AirPods Pro 2, which are outstanding by the way, and I am still wearing my Apple Watch Ultra. And for anybody that's watched to this point and you've seen my Apple Watch Ultra review, I can confirm I got 4 days from a single charge on my Apple Watch Ultra. That was with light workout activity, as you can tell. I'm gaining weight like it's going out of fashion, but the Apple Watch did last 4 days, which is mind-blowing for an Apple Watch. So yeah, again, Apple innovating, improving for the consumer. Anyway, I come off like a real Apple fanboy. Comment down below if I am wrong. Comment down below for some debate. if you think I'm off, if you don't agree that the 48 megapixel camera, the dynamic island, the always on display, you don't believe those are big enough upgrades, let me know why. I'm open to it. I love a little chat. So comment, and if you haven't already, like the video, subscribe, do all that stuff to help me get past 2,000 subscribers. I'm only a little channel. Please help. Please, sir. See you again soon.